Welcome back, everyone. My name's Crane Bramp, your old Brainiacs, and this is Nomad Survival, another early access title playing on an iteration of the side-scrolling 2D auto-attacker bullet hell roguelikes, similar to Vampire Survivors, but don't just think this is a clone. Nomad Survivors is unique and fun in its own right, so settle back, grab you a cup of brain juice, and let's talk about Nomad Survival. So, if you know anything about me, I love difficult games, and roguelikes and roguelites, especially bullet hell titles, fall into that category. Next to survival, I'd probably have to say it's my favorite category, and today's title, Nomad Survivors, scratches a very similar itch to Vampire Survivors, and man, there's a lot to get you scratching, so let's dive right in. Now, before we do, I want to thank you for dropping by and checking out the vid, and you already know that you should have already hit that subscribe button, but you know, just on the off chance that you haven't, thanks for doing it just now. I think a really good first place to begin is, what is a roguelite and how does it compare to a traditional roguelike? That line has become quite blurred in recent years, but it's all about repetition. You have a character, there's a level before you, and you will run that level over and over, traditionally difficult, until you can learn it and beat it. That is the basic gameplay loop. There might be other levels or higher difficulties or different characters with different abilities or different scenarios, but it's still that same basic loop. The base difference is that roguelites usually have some type of meta system laid on top of it that allows you to improve your chances of defeating the level. That might be a skill system or picking up weapons, for example, usually with a heavy element of RNG added in. Nomad Survival is all of this. So let's start from the top. When you first start to play, you're going to be asked to select a character. There are originally 3 starters, and you'll unlock more as you play. You can see that I have. You have the Adventurer, the Crusader, the Cultist, the Ratkin Archer, the Divine, the Quickling, and finally the Necromancer, which is what I've unlocked so far, and there may well be other characters and probably other characters planned. Each has their own special attack that's fired off by a resource that renews over time, similar to stamina or mana in other games. It regens passively. There are boosters. It's called SP, or skill points, and when full, that bank, the ability fires. For example, you can see that the Adventurer has an angle slash. It attacks in the direction you're facing. It costs 100 skill points. And when the Adventurer hits certain levels in a run, he gets extra attacks. Now, looking at the Crusader, his skill fires every 200 skill points, because it's a little more powerful. That it's a smite ability that fires 3 projectiles with knockback power. And he also has a small aura around him that damages creatures that enter it. You'll also see a note that the Spectral Sword does not duplicate the aura. One of the weapons that you can pick up in the game, as a note, is the Spectral Sword, and its job is to duplicate your primary ability. Many of the more powerful abilities cannot be replicated or only get partially replicated, so always check here. As the Adventurer, his abilities also level up during each run, and so it goes for each character. You can pause it here. The Cultist blows up monsters that damage other monsters. The Ratkin Archer has multiple arrows that bounce around and pierce enemies. The Divine, quote-unquote, loses control, damaging all enemies on the screen, pausing for a moment and becoming shortly invulnerable. The Quickling turns into a speed demon. You damage other people when you hit them. And the Necromancer, with one of the more fun and powerful abilities, summons unkillable skeletal warriors. And not to leave you without choices, and more choices, you now select a heritage, which changes the gameplay for that run. You have the standard modifier Nomad, where you get a bonus reroll every level. We'll talk about rerolls when we get to gameplay. Then there's a stupid hard Berserker hardcore mode where you do double damage but can never ever heal. The Poxbringer, where you do double damage but deal it out as damage over time over a 6-second interval. Fun mode and much harder than you think it would be, and requires some unique tactics. We've got the Void Walker, where you drop Void Rift basically turds behind you that knock back enemies. Doesn't say if it damages them. The Summoner, which gives you a chance to summon creatures to fight for you from dead bodies. Can anybody see a Necromancer Summoner ponage here? And true random number goodness, crunchy stuff where you get weapons randomly and can only choose which ones to improve. An interesting note here is that many class abilities that cannot be duplicated by the Spectral Sword can be duplicated by this merchant ability. So again, giving you choices, this requires a whole new strategy and may give you whole new combinations of weapons that you can't use anywhere else. Finally, you get a chance to choose what level you're going to play on and unlock more. At first, level 1 is only unlocked, level 2 unlocked when I cleared level 1 and killed its boss. And level 3, I assume, will unlock when I beat level 2 and kill its boss, which I haven't done yet. Obviously, there is also a double XP mode for each level, where obviously you get double XP, but you can't earn any achievements. A good mode to test out weapons at higher evolution values without having to wait forever to evolve them. You also get a couple of choices for different game speeds, which again you have to unlock, and a small blurb about the area and some lore about it. Both level 1 and level 2 are wildly different as far as type of level, monsters, their attack patterns, and even the tactics that need to be used and the weapons that work best on each level. Really, really excited to see what else is going to be ready to unlock and what I'm going to have to beat. Gameplay itself is simple. You begin with just your class skill and start killing monsters. Monsters drop XP chips of different colors, which have different amounts of XP. This XP fills up your XP bar. When it's full, you get a choice of a new weapon and or ability to add to your repertoire. If you don't have the item, you get it at level 1. If you do, you get +1 level. Each weapon can also go to level 10. You also get rerolls. Now, some modes earn these automatically, and they're just what they say. They let you reroll the ability or weapon choices that you get when you level up. This doesn't feel truly RNG, as some of the high-level abilities seem to show on the list way less than level 0 choices that you haven't made yet. I've made 20 plus rolls looking for a high level ability many times with no success. The goal is to stay alive for 30 minutes and then beat the level boss. There are also various mini bosses throughout that will show up. As you do this and you beat the levels, the next level opens up and so on. Speaking of bosses and mini bosses, these drop Relic Chests. Relic Chests usually drop powerful special abilities for your items. These will be a choice of 2, and you can do rerolls on these, but the rerolls double in price each time and get very expensive late game. Note that if you do not have the item or ability, you still get the Relic Chest item, and it just remains inactive until when or if you actually get that item. I'll normally decide on a group of skills that I really want for a particular run, and then I let the Relic Chest kind of spice it up for the rest that I want to get. The Relic Chest finally gives you a choice of 6 items, 3 of which I have unlocked post opening the chest. Destiny, which basically completes the level that you're working on and gives you an item choice immediately. Fate, which gives you 10 extra rerolls to use anytime during the run. It just adds to your reroll total. And Life, which heals you and then makes you invulnerable for 10 seconds. The last things to cover are gold coins, unlocks, and upgrades. Part of the loot that drops in the game are also gold coins. You can take these and spend them in the unlock and upgrade shop. Here's my unlock shop with some stuff that I've unlocked, a pending unlock that I need to spend 1,000 gold on, which I left to show you, and a couple of unlocks that are gated behind achievements that I don't have yet. Global upgrades include items that help all runs, such as bonus coins, health regen, pickup range, rare items, and more. Some of the items, such as unlocking invocations and relic rerolls, are quite expensive, promising lots of unlock time. You can also reset your upgrades if you wish. Oh, and speaking of achievements, all you achievement hunters out there, yeah. All in all, It's a great new entry into the genre. The primary difference between Nomad Survival and its inevitable comparison, Vampire Survivors, is just more, I would say. More characters, more weapons, more abilities, more modes, more choices, and possibly just a lot more levels to come. In closing, kudos to the devs. I'm really enjoying it and finding the synergies between all the different weapons and characters. I really hope that you enjoyed this little review of Nomad Survival. You have an awesome day. See you on the other side.